ஹலோ, யாரு? தன்ராஜா? நான் தான் ராமசாமி பேசுறேன்.
So, hello, welcome to Vanga Peslam. இன்னைக்கு என்னோட கெஸ்ட் மிஸ்டர் Sanjay Kalyanasundaram, என் ஒய்ஃபோட பிரதர். So I have to be really careful today, you know. I don't want to have any domestic problems. so Sanjay, I know you are a big Rajinikanth fan, so I thought I'll just call you and discuss my favorite Rajinikanth movie, which is Thambikku and the ooru, right?
Yeah.
So can you just tell me just two lines, so what the movie is about, the story of Thambikku and the ooru, just two lines, simple.
So Thambikku and the ooru வந்து ரஜினிகாந்த் வந்து so happens to be this guy Balu, and அவங்க அப்பா வந்து சரியா he doesn't feel like he has the responsibility, so he sends him to his friend's house in a different village where he doesn't know this is the son of like this a rich guy, and then eventually the story gets to like, you know, how Balu becomes very responsible, finds love, and then sort of becomes this sort of a savior of this one girl that he falls in love with, and also saves the other girl who falls in love with him as well. And eventually the story is how he goes from being this irresponsible person to this, you know, super responsible guy, and this whole idea of
this movie is one of the movies where I realized that Rajinikanth can do comedy, right? So I mean, like Thillumullu came first before this. Thillumullu was a real comedy movie, but again it was not actually Mr. Rajinikanth doing comedy, because it was a remake of a Hindi movie, Golmaal. They just like followed that template, and Mr. Balachandar was there, Visu's dialogue, everything kind of helped him out. But in this movie, Rajinikanth by himself, right, as a single person, has done a lot of comedy, a lot of physical stuff, a lot of dialogue delivery, a lot of different things, which was like very fun to watch. I mean, according to me, that is one of the perfect commercial movies for Rajinikanth, right? They have beautiful songs, a good-looking heroine, a nice comedy track, right? I wouldn't say the fights were as great as the other movie, but it was one of the best Rajinikanth movie that I have seen, right?
Yeah.
So
I sometimes feel like, you know, it's the same sort of feeling that I get with Kamal Hassan, right? Like Kamal Hassan is like this like huge character actor, but then given the right sort of story and the right kind of writer, like they become incredibly like funny, right? I mean, so they have the timing and everything, and you would think that it's because if you're a good actor, you can be, you know, a great comedian. But Rajinikanth, you can never say that he can like act on like cue. But like given a good writer and a good story, I think, you know, Rajinikanth does a good job. Like I don't think it's just the Rajinikanth himself, but it's like the cast or the sort of the writing cast that helped him do it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching this movie in the theater and then laughing the entire movie. I was laughing because so many of the scenes were really funny, and it's so like surprising to see. Oh my God, he's doing comedy. You know, that was like a lot of scenes in the movie, starting from the very first scene, like where he goes to the village, and then like he'll ask the guy how much. It's ரெண்டு கல்லுனா 2 மைல் நடக்கணுமா.
Same thing with kilometer and miles here.
அதுல இருந்து start, like from there it'll start. அப்புறம் like he'll go to Hendamare's house and then like they'll give him களி to eat. And then உங்க வீட்டுல இட்லி பொங்கல்லாம் பண்ண மாட்டீங்களா? வருஷத்துக்கு 2 வாட்டி பண்ணுவோம். 2 வாட்டி lot of dialogue, lot of things. அப்புறம் the way he eat the chili சாப்பிட்டே பேஸ்டே இருப்பான், அந்த மிளகா சாப்பிட்டே இருப்பான். That be like
amazing, yeah.
very interesting. So yeah, அது நல்லா இருந்தது. And then like all the things that happened with Madhavi, right? Whole, how we get introduced, how he's the rude girl, how he falls in love, everything will be like really funny thing. The only when I was thinking back, the only drawback I felt was the negative characters, the people who play the villains, they weren't as powerful as to that's
Yeah.
Srikanth and Nadigal Ravi, right? So they weren't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they were like a softer sort of thing, right? Like, but most of the movie is about this sort of character change, than about, like, how typically Rajinikanth movies are, which are like, it's like a powerful villain, and then he takes on, like, hundreds of people. So they didn't have that sort of thing in there. I don't know if you noticed the sort of like I can't remember where this happens, but you can never tell whether Rajinikanth is like actually doing this typical Rajinikanth thing. There's no, like, the style part, even the comedy part. These didn't form like the next set of comedy. Like, இப்போ வந்து எந்த படத்துல வந்து அந்த பாம்பு பாம்பு, right? That became like, yeah, like you can never like sense those things. Like, obviously they have the cigarette flipping thing. When that happened. You can remember this. But in this movie, there are a lot of these things that started that I didn't even remember, like, until I saw it again. And I was like, wow, this is where it all started for his like 3 or 4 comedic things that he starts doing.
Yeah, that Pambu thing was one of the best scenes in the movie, because it just Rajinikanth himself for at least 5 minutes, actually 5 minutes, just him and just reactions, which is really tough actually, but it was very, very, very funny, very amazing. We're laughing a lot. But of course, like they tried to copy that same thing on that Anomaly movie too. By the time, but still, they tried that too. But anyway, yeah. But in this movie, all the other actors too. Sandhamari was very, very good in this movie. Sandhamari was good. Sulakshana was very good in this movie.
Oh, Sulakshana, the other one, I forgot.
Other one, yeah. Sulakshana was good, and Madhavi, obviously, and Madhavi's dad, Vinu Chakravarti, he was very funny too in that movie. he was kind of funny in that movie too. He's a very funny villain, Vinu Chakravarti.
Yeah, somehow it made that cast, right? Like, if you think about even Annamalai, Vinu Chakravarti becomes he plays the same kind of, like, it starts out as this like
he
funny
comes in like Lord Rajinikanth movie.
Right?
She comes in all the way till this one, Arunachalam.
Yeah,
He came all the way till Arunachalam. He was there for a long thing. Now, I think it kind of works out that people like Mr. Rajinikanth, Kamal Haasan, they have like their own set of people they're comfortable working with, or they have very good chemistry with them, and they try to keep on having the Kamal Haasan with like Delhi Ganesh. We think about, he comes in almost every movie of Kamal Haasan. So it's kind of a simple thing. So yeah, so Thambikku ooru was one of the movie I want to discuss, because that was the funniest movie. The other one, complete polar opposite, I want to discuss was Basha.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So Basha, when I look back at right now, I still remember like seeing that movie with my cousin Sivakumar in Udayam Theatre. If we were like supposed to go to a different movie, but we couldn't get tickets to that. But Basha has been there for 2 months already by that time. So I haven't seen it. So he said, "Let me paaklam." But I mean, I already paatanga. But paaklam. So I went and saw. It was first 1 hour was so boring for me. Like, just like Rajinikanth, like kept on hitting. It's just like, I mean, I'm Rajinikanth, Nada, Basha, that scene where it becomes, that was amazing payoff. One wonderful payoff, that movie. That movie was, it took him to a different level, actually. Rajinikanth as a commercial star, it took him to a huge level, that movie. So how old were you? Like when Basha came, 95, how old were you? 20?
So when Basha came out, I was 21.
Yeah, so 95 it came out. Yeah, that is, yeah. Even like that movie also, they had amazing star casting. They had a huge villain in Raghuvaran, who was a perfect foil for Rajinikanth, right? It was the only thing that, I mean, I really didn't understand even now is, how can Rajinikanth fall in love with Nagma, who is Raghuvaran's daughter?
Yeah,
right?
It's a little age issue, right?
Age issue, yeah.
No, so I think, yeah, you're right that Basha was probably sort of like the anti Thambikku ooru. Like, he was very serious. The movie was all about sort of like he ignored everything. No social concept. There is no like he's going to do good for someone. Like, none of that. Right? It was like this sort of raw, like he was a bad guy. He got screwed over by someone, and the only sort of positive thing was he has a friend. right? Like he kind of, they had like a small reason why he could be considered a good guy, but otherwise he was just a general bad guy, right?
Yeah.
He was competing against someone and he got beaten, and then, you know, decides to come back and like just destroy everybody. And I don't know how you could like make this case that while he was building his kind of pre 1997 career or whatever, you know, he probably wasn't thinking it through, right? Like it's almost like, you know, I'll do like a very like a hard-edged movie, and then make it work. But you're right, like the beginning of this was like very surprising, long drawn. I don't remember who was the music guy for that. Deva. Yeah. So even the music was okay. Like, I mean, I did like some songs there, although I'm not a big fan of Deva. I did like some songs of in the first songs were okay. The Autogaran was like the first, like, you know, it was like, if you're a Rajinikanth fan, the Autogaran song was, you know, I still remember, like, you know, watching that, like, you know, standing up and like dancing in the theater. Like that was like a huge thing, but then that was it. Right? Like no one knew the rest of this, like, you know, dark Rajinikanth is going to come. And that was like huge.
Yeah, there are like a lot of stories about that too. I mean, how they shot that scene where they, I mean, after he becomes Basha, like in the flashback, he'll be like interrogating a guy about the bomb in the temple. So that scene, like he'll just like come with a chair, he'll be like sitting in a chair and he'll just push the chair and like come forward. That scene, it took them almost like 4 hours to shoot because like he could not like get into the mood, it seems. So he just waited. Finally, he just had to bring, and then he just came out and did it. And it was so awesome scene and everything. So yeah, so that was a very, it's like a very, very powerful movie. Like in terms of, I mean, it just ran for a long time, I believe. It was a huge hit.
And I don't really see, like, you know, how we complain, right? At least I complain sometimes. Rajinikanth movies copy like these concepts, right? Like whether it's Hindi movies or Hollywood movies.
Well, this was a remake of, not a remake. It was lifted from Hum, actually.
Oh, Hum.
In the Hum, Rajinikanth played the brother character. Amitabh Bachchan played Rajinikanth played the police inspector character. But Rajinikanth at the time was thinking, it seems, in the படத்தை இப்படி எடுத்தா நல்லா இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு. Even and then he called Suresh Krishna and told him, in the படம் இருக்கு, I mean, I just had the thought, we'll just develop it like this. நல்ல thought இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இது நம்ம. So they just like made it completely like into Tamil audience, and it just took off.
And it kind of breaks this sort of like traditional kind of hero's journey, right? Like the traditional thing is you're a hero and then you don't know, and then like they try to kind of push you too much, and then you become sort of like, you know, powerful and you try to like act on it. This was like he was a bad guy. Right? He starts with the bad guy, ends with the bad guy, and there was like a small time where he didn't want to be, you know, seen, and he didn't want to do anything, which was kind of interesting.
They didn't show him. Yeah, they didn't show him as a bad guy completely. If you think about it, the first 10 minutes, it's all about Rajinikanth being an auto driver, helping out people. Giving money for the marriage, giving money for operation, giving money for studies, all of things. They set up. He's a good guy. But he was a bad guy.
Well, he was a bad guy. Yeah. Like it was like a little like dip in the middle that he wants to be like, a nice guy for a bit, and then somebody provokes him. So it's like a very like cyclical movie. I loved it though. This was one of my I mean, I would watch it every day. And Suresh Krishna, like generally he gave Rajinikanth like 3 or 4 movies, right? Like I don't know.
Annamalai, Basha, Veera.
Oh, Veera was
Veera was also a good movie.
Yeah. And again, somehow like Veera la rendu wife anuga. Even that was like morally like not the right thing to do, but he like carried it, you know, like forget the story, like, you know, what is the Tamil movie or Tamil sort of like parampariyam adala paakuradilla. Okay. No,
but even then, like, they have a reason. Like, they have a reason why he has to work, because like
forgotten.
Died. No, Meena died. That's the reason, right?
Yeah.
Died in the.
Or he thought she died, right?
Yeah, she died because
he came back.
Everybody said she died. So, but then he has to be convinced to get married. But Adali, he had a very, very amazing comedy track with Sindhu. Oh, that's
Oh yeah, yeah,
amazing
yeah.
comedy track. The Veera, that entire thing where they will go to the temple and then like Meena will be with him and Roja will come and they'll back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That will be amazing. That's also a very good movie. And then
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. They only like 3 movies after that. He didn't do Suresh Krishna. That's it. Actually, the story about Suresh Krishna is Annamalai was supposed to be directed by Vasant.
Oh,
He
okay.
was a staple of Mr. Balachandra. But he didn't like the script, or I don't know what happened. So then they brought in Suresh Krishna, and Rajinikanth was so scared because Suresh Krishna, the first movie was Satya. So with Kamala Hassan. So he thought, okay, oh my God, he's going to make a kind of an art film. He's going to make something. But after 2 days, he saw him and then he was convinced, okay, you have the right idea. You just go do whatever you want. Yeah, that was a very good thing.
Yeah.
But
I think only later he became a little bit like Society, and like he started doing these movies with a little bit of a moral kind of line, right? Maybe he was thinking about politics, right? If you think of Annamalai or whatever, like he'll start like saying something, and then he'll kind of hint at like how he would change society, and that is some like that became tiring for me. Like I almost like I feel like he should have either like gotten into politics or not, but then the movie should not have been affected, like because the
no,
movies are
but
for fans, right?
I think like he has given a reason for that, right? Like he has told it is not my words. It's
Oh yeah.
writers. Yes, he told it's not my words, it's the writers' words. I never said to anybody directly that I'm coming to politics. That he has told that very clearly. Yeah. But even now, like people are mad that he didn't come. But of course, he has told he's not healthy right now. So
Yeah.
well, healthy is that's what is most more important right now. So we'll see. This COVID thing kind of really messed up a lot of people's plans and aspirations and everything. So
Absolutely.
it's kind of a different thing. Yeah, like what else? Rajinikanth, the Thambikku and the ooru was one of my favorite Rajinikanth movie. Then Basha was a very, 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 very impactful movie. I mean, like was clapping, in theater when it just when it becomes that character, like the fight scene, it was amazing transformation. Actually.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
like I don't know if you like the things that he's done, which is a little bit experimental. I don't know whether it was successful or not. Like I don't know if you remember Mannan, right? Like that movie was, pretty experimental, right? Like a powerful character, female character, and then he somehow like gets around that. That was like a new thing for me.
No, but
and like,
even like Mannan also, I think again, he had the really, really strong character like in Vijay Shanti, right? So it kind of worked
without it would not have worked.
But the fun fact is, it's a remake of a Kannada movie.
Oh yeah.
It came from Mr. Rajkumar, like in Kannada. Madhavi played Vijay Shanti's character, and then Geeta, my neighbor, she played the Kushbu's character. I didn't even know that. And they had the same song in that movie too. That Amma and Radhika song they had in that movie too.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was very surprising. I just like going through the list, I saw, wow. And the movie, they take exactly the same scene, everything. அப்படியே remake பண்ணி அப்படியே போட்டுருது. And the Visuவோட character மட்டும், I think like they kind of made it bigger because it's Visu. So like, Mannan again, it was a very big movie, huge hit movie, a lot of things there. I think the experimental movie, if you want to ask him, Baba is experimental movie for him. Baba is the most experimental.
A little too experimental, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's too. I still don't understand that movie as to what that 7 wishes or 7 boon or whatever.
No.
I don't understand.
I think that's like the you cannot be a CEO and you cannot be the sort of the a producer or the CTO of like a company, right? That goes like to prove that like he was everything in that movie, right? Is his idea, like his belief system, and then he also wrote. Apparently, he wrote like
he wrote some. Baba was also Suresh Krishna, right? Yeah, Baba was Suresh Krishna too.
Yeah, but not like it was like too much him, and he should have just been like as every other movie. But the Valli was my favorite, by the way. Like in the experimental flow, right? where he's obviously not the main character, but like, and he still does all these crazy things. Like he's a Swami, and he does all these like yogi things where he gives advice randomly and walks around as a without like with his the veshti eல்லாம் போட்டுன்னு
Yeah.
he does that thing, but like timing was right, the storyline was like strong, and he can come in and do whatever he wanted. Like apparently he was also like highly involved in like getting that movie up.
But Worldly without Rajinikanth, it's a great movie actually. It's a very, very strong women character, very, very strong women character.
Yeah.
So for the very first movie, that the heroine was amazing actually. She was very, very, very amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but recent what is the latest movie? Pete was very good. I like Pete very much. I like Pete. I mean, it was typical Rajinikanth movie, right?
Actually, I have like an additional thing about Pete. So the last scene. So if anybody has seen Pete, sorry, like you probably know this, but if you have not seen Pete, you should not listen to the next 5 minutes. Where அவன் அந்த இவனை வந்து சேதுபதியை வந்து பையன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அந்த ஏமாத்துற சீன் இருக்கு இல்லையா, right? That is like a little bit of a twist. Like it's like he doesn't have to do it, right? He's at a point where he could have just said, okay, he's my son or something that would have still run very well. But on the last minute switch,
we still don't know, right? It's still kind of a question mark though, the way the movie ended.
Yeah.
You can have a question mark. We can say he is not. We don't know that.
Yeah. I think maybe there's a director's touch there more than Rajinikanth's, but he doesn't have to do it. I felt like, okay, like he's sort of still trying,
but that Karthik Subbarajan is a huge Rajinikanth fan.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a fan's homage to his
every Rajinikanth movie basically.
Exactly. Right? So I mean, if you think about it, it's one of the perfect Rajinikanth movie you can think of, right?
Yeah.
Amazing build-up, amazing intro, amazing actions, heated comedy. Of course, there was no romancing or anything, very small thing, but it's not a big deal. But it had a nice flashback too, like a very powerful flashback. So yeah, it was a very good movie.
So I have this thing that I try to promote this movie Kabali, right? To everyone, I like anyone who has not been involved, and I would not name names, but someone very close to me was never until that point had never seen like a Tamil movie, right? Like first of all, you introduced this guy, right? Like I said, he's like the James Bond of like,
James Bond, okay.
Yeah. Like because it's more than like, just him, it's just style and everything. First of all, I like pumped that up, and then the Kabali is like, there are scenes where she didn't really follow like the whole story because it's like 3 hours, like there's a lot of like summary moments in that movie, but that where he has this song with the girl who comes back from South Africa. I forget the
South Africa. Yeah, daughter.
And wife. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maya Nadi Indra. That song.
Yeah. So that was like the one thing I showed, and then the other last scene where they have the color thing, I was showing to her, and I don't think she remembers anything else but that. But it's that kind of, I don't know if it is like contemporary, like his approach to movies are still very contemporary or not, but it kind of sells well even if you don't understand what the Tamil movie situation is, like how he's got like over 40 years of like a career, but something like that people find dramatic, above and beyond what like someone should do, right? Like you could have just like done like regular stuff. He could have walked away, but he did a phenomenal.
I mean, Kabali is also a kind of an experimental movie for Mr. Rajinikanth because this director, he was a pretty new guy, right? Ranjit was a pretty he did 2 movies.
Ranjit, yeah.
Ranjit, he did like 2 good movies, but still he was a pretty new guy. So suddenly from going from Karthik to Mr. Rajinikanth, it's a huge jump for him. But I think like he managed the movie very well, which also like made him give him like one more movie, right?
Yeah.
With what is that? What's the next movie? Kala, right? Kala.
Kala. I was talking about Kala actually. I was going to say Kamala. I don't know why I said Kamali, but like I was originally talking about Kala. But yeah, I mean, Paranjit, that was this that somehow felt like, yeah, it's a big risk because it's a social movie. Could have been done by like a regular actor, right? And no reason for Rajinikanth to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, but I think that sometimes the bigger the star, the bigger the reach, the messages. Maybe that's what he wanted to do. So
Yeah.
that's what he wanted to do. So yeah, but yeah. I mean, yeah. So I mean, he has had an amazing career, though. He's had a great career. I think he's still going. So I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon. Right?
Yeah.
So, apparently,
He's
almost
different,
like 70% of the shooting is done for Anate, right? So they
Yeah.
were waiting for it to be done. So it'll come out pretty quick. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think like, I don't know whether he does the same mistake as any other Shivaji Ganesan or MGR, right? Like trying to act young at this age, right? He's sort of doing those, but like he's at least not like in his 20s,
Yeah.
in all these movies.
The last Rajinikanth movie by Murugadas, right? In that movie, like Nayanthara was the pair, but they clearly told that Nayanthara is too young for him, right? In the movie, dialogue varum. And the one then Nayanthara brother will just come to Rajinikanth's house and then show him. Oh, இவர் யாரு பிரைம் மினிஸ்டரா? அப்ப அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு 5 வயசு. Photo பார்த்து. So I think like they can accept it. Okay, we still not young anymore. We have to do like those kind of roles. Apparently, he's not romancing a young girl. He's like romancing Simran. She is a mother of the girl. So other like what they are showing you. So it's no longer like he's like college student.
Yeah. Nagma அந்த படம் தர்பார் சொல்றீங்களா?
Nayanthara வந்து தர்பார்.
Nayanthara வந்து தர்பார் சொல்றீங்களா? Yeah. Somehow that was a very disappointing movie for me. Like I watched it twice. Somehow it turned out to be disappointing.
I think most people didn't like the dubbing portion. They were all talking in Hindi, the dubbing in Tamil, something was off. People felt something was kind of off in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I mean, I liked it the way that there are a lot of typical Rajinikanth stuff, but too much action though. There's too much action though. But yeah, a lot of good Rajinikanth stuff and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
In the movies, he doesn't do well. Like he doesn't save his whatever wife or daughter or whatever. Those movies, I personally kind of like tune out, right? Like, if she's dead, like, what are you doing here, right? So I sort of like have this, and I don't remember any couple of other movies I'd watched, and then I said,
but again, given like Darbar too, the daughter, like, she got like more of the accolades because like she performed really well.
She acted like amazing.
That girl was really good.
Like post when she finds out that it's gonna die, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's all like typical Tamil movie stuff, which is good too. It's good.
Yeah, I don't think he does second fiddle well, but like the movies he's done, played second fiddle. I don't know whether you can say it's second fiddle, but like Thalapathy, if you take Thalapathy, right?
Thalapathy is not second fiddle. The real second fiddle in my mind is Padayappa, technically, if you think about it. Everybody after they come out of the theater, nobody was talking about everybody. Oh my God, Ramya Krishnan. Oh my God.
Ramya Krishnan. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
That's another movie where like the strong female character, right? Like
strong.
Padayappa was like definitely like strong female character overrode everything. But the one
thing, even if you think about it, even in Mannan, finally like Vijayakanthi will change. She'll become nicer. In this Padayappa, till death, she'll be a strong
like
character.
Worse, yeah.
That's amazing.
And to this day, I like the amazing. Like, I'm going to do it one day where he goes and she doesn't offer him a chair.
Yeah.
And then he like pulls down that unjal. Man, amazing. That was like a moment.
Yeah. I mean, even the first scene, good friends all varuvanga, iva varuva, Ramya Krishnan will come, இப்படி பாப்பா அவங்க போவாங்க, இப்படி பாப்பா இவங்க போவாங்க, ரஜினிகாந்த் இப்படி பாரியா டேய் திருமணா போயிட்டாங்க, நீங்க போங்கலடா ஏன்டா மானத்தை வாங்குறீங்க, நல்லா இருக்கும். அதுலயும் he had a very good comedy, Sindhul and the shirt comedy.
Yeah.
The waist and shirt.
When he has to find
Yeah.
Senthil, his wife.
Wife, yeah, this is just a very good comedy.
That is crazy.
Apparently, that movie was shot for like 4 hours. It seems. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And then Rajinikanth wanted to have like 2 intervals in that movie. And then he spoke to Kamala Hassan, and then Kamala Hassan told him, "Are you crazy? Nobody will watch for a movie for 4 hours. Just leave it to Ravi Kumar, and then like he knows what to do." Apparently, they took out a lot of stuff. It seems that movie. Amazing. The brother character, like when he comes back, the brothers are doing bad stuff. Apparently, there was like a huge fight block. It seems between they just took off the whole thing. Like a lot of background between that the hero into they took off a lot of scenes.
And yeah, it's also like a pretty big risk at that time. I mean, not anymore, but like in Padayappa, having his older version still show like a lot of anger and a lot of power. I thought that was like pretty risky, but like, you know, now I think he can do it, but like even then he was considered like a relatively young hero, right? Like
yeah.
Padayappa and everything.
Padayappa was at 22 years now almost.
Yeah.
It's a long time back.
For that to be like a, you know, older man, like he does like this thing, even in I think he does reasonably. That's what I've noticed is he's aged gracefully than most the matinee idols, right?
Yeah, that is absolutely true. I mean, he still looks good though, so that's his main advantage. He still looks very good, and an amazing thing about Rajinikanth, he can like fit into any dress. He can fit into any dress. Cop, lawyer, doctor, engineer, pilot, nothing. He can just fit in any dress. He look awesome in it, right?
Yeah,
that is one of the biggest gifts for him. So
I don't know when this changed, but I remember like his first few movies where he was horribly dressed. Maybe like, you know, even if it is like 70s and early 80s sort of fashion, like he had like mismatching stuff and everything. I don't know when that changed, where he started becoming careful about what he wears, right? Like to the point where I know now whenever he wears something, like he brands it, right? Like he wears like a black and a black thing in Kala, and then the glasses that he wears in Kala, that you can now buy that on Amazon India, right? So now he's come to a point where he's like a little fashion icon in every movie. But there was a time when he was not, I don't know who dressed him, but he was terrible at his outfits.
No, again, but maybe like in the beginning of the career, like didn't have that much confidence or that much power, you know. So once they knew that he's a superstar, then like everything. I mean, after I think like Muratakali, I think everything changed.
Yeah.
Once Muratakali came, then Thangamagan also he was like dressed up very good. Thangamagan, Nallamanukku Nallavan, all the movie was starting to dress up really good, and then it just took off. So yeah, so like this was very awesome, Sanjay.
Thank you.
Hope you had fun.
It's like therapy for me.
Therapy. Oh, awesome. Yeah, like me and my cousin, we are planning to do a cricket podcast next. We are trying to find out all-time Indian 11.
Oh my God.
Best 11 players in there. From actually, like, we cannot go all-time. We have to be like maybe from 1980. The people like who like we have seen play. So,
Gavaskar, Kapil Dev, and the generation.
Let's see. Anyway, thanks, Sanjay. Thanks for coming. Had an awesome time. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll do it again sometime, definitely.
All
okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello. Thanks for watching my video. உங்களுக்கு இந்த வீடியோ பிடிச்சிருந்தா இந்த சேனலுக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க, இந்த வீடியோக்கு லைக் போடுங்க, and then like keep supporting my channel. Thank you.